Hello, welcome to Starlight Talk. I'm here this week, Miss Lillian, and we're gonna talk about wish our parents knew when we were little. We talk about some childhood stories and some all good stuff. And the reason why we chose this topic is we're gonna do a workshop this weekend on things we wish our parents did differently. With Danny Raitt, and so you can get tickets for that if you're in the area. We're in Orlando, Florida right now for that. So I have that all linked in the description. Check out OurTism.com because we also have a new workshop we're working on called Triggered with Ava that we'll be doing. So check out that workshop on the website, and we have my blogs on the website, all great stuff, OurTism.com. And come back every week because every Wednesday I do these Starlight Talks where I talk about something related to autism and bring on guests. So come back next week for that. I do that at the same time, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, hello. Thank you for joining Heather Scholars Reward.
Hello, Heather Scholars.
So this week Lillian's here. She's my twin sister. We are both diagnosed with autism.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we were diagnosed the last year of Asperger's, so it actually said Asperger's/ASD on our diagnosis. So we didn't get a level. No. Those weren't around yet. So we're going to talk about things we wish our parents knew. And one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is when I was little, I was told almost not to listen. No, I was told not to listen to my body, and that the signals that I thought I understood or was pretty clearly or was getting to figure out, I was told what I was reading incorrectly. And it's still taking me a while to relearn to trust my body and trust my instincts again. And I think that it's important to check in with our bodies because they know more than we do. And so when you're comfortable in your body, it'll tell you exactly what it needs. And for some reason, because our signs or whatever that our body tells us are different from the neurotypical, what those signals are, we're often told, are telling us something completely different than we know that they actually are telling us. For example, one of the signs that I'm getting a sensory overload is that I get this back pain in my spine, this like tightness in my spine. So when I was little, I would say, "Oh, I have back pain. I want to leave now." And my parents are like, "There's no reason to leave somewhere like Disneyland, somewhere, like my birthday party, or like, Christmas." They're like, "Just sit down and, take a break, take some motion or something, whatever, to make it feel better." But that didn't make it feel better because it wasn't back pain necessarily. It was sensory overload that was building up, and that was just one of the signals. And so I thought, at first I was like, I need to leave because I didn't have a word for sensory overload, but I knew what it meant. Because I'm like, oh, every time I get this pain right here in my spine, it leads to all these other feelings that I don't like. But if I leave, that'll go away.
Pick up the bottle. Wait, it's 10 o'clock. Sorry. My dog is just moving his bowl around the kitchen.
Yeah, and I even remember some adults saying, "Oh, you're too young to have back pain," and so like you. Even as a joke, like that made me go, wait, then do I actually have back pain? Yeah, so I remember that kind of stuff, and that made me not confident enough to even a lot of times to say I was feeling something. So I'd either not say anything and suffer in silence, or I stopped listening to signals because people telling me I was doing the wrong thing. And so I've realized that my body really knows. And then when I listen to it and check in with myself, that I do a lot better. And I think that's something that I wish my parents knew when I was younger, that if I went to tell them about the back pain, instead of assuming what it was, or they listened to my words that I wanted to leave, that they would, and they would, okay, explain this and ask questions, and were more in that moment with me instead of listening to, I guess, whoever was around and assuming that my experience would be the same as their experience. One of the things that people get told is that us crying, which is used meltdowns or tantrums or manipulation, that crying didn't actually mean what it normally means. That those of us on the spectrum, when we cry, we're trying to get our way, and that's not, I mean, technically we are, but it's because we're in pain, overwhelmed, sensory there's reasons for it. It's, there's something let you down. There's just like something you couldn't handle, and that's why you're crying.
We've reached our capacity and can't move forward. Not that we just I don't want to be here, so I'm gonna throw a tantrum and go home.
Yeah.
Right. It's truly incapable of continuing, and it's painful. And to have to push through that is just miserable. And it's not a manipulation of I just want to go home.
And also what might trigger whatever's the last straw might not be actually what the person is crying about either. So maybe a kid's oh, I want this toy, and then they cry because you said no to the toy, but they might not be crying about the toy. It just might be the last thing that happened that day that was a letdown, that was a disappointment. It could have been a bunch of things that led up to that moment. They could just be tired. But I don't think it's just no. The word no. Although that could also be a hard thing to because of that transition of going from an expectation to nothing. So it's easier to have a little bit of transition to something else. So instead of just no, replacing it with something that fills that can be helpful. Because going from, I really want to go to this place today, to no, then all of a sudden, well, I'm not going anywhere, and all my plans are, I had this plan and now I can't do it. Then you go to it's not about, oh, I can't go to that place. It's about all that other stuff. So if you go, you know what? Today that's not going to work out, but there's these other alternatives. Sometimes that's easier.
Or even stating the alternatives without saying the complete no until you have to say the no.
Yeah.
And just say, how about instead we do this, rather than the no can sometimes be easier. Oh, okay, I'll do that instead. Until they're no, I want to do this. And you're I'm sorry, we can't do that.
And then the why also can be helpful. Yeah. Putting in a why there. Of, today I'm not really up for doing something that big. How about we do something a little smaller, and hopefully we can do that another time when I'm feeling better. I don't know when that will be. Just something that makes sense. The why can be really, really important.
And no, because I said so is very hard to accept.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I know with you and your stomach pains, you had people telling you you weren't feeling that. It was in your head, and it was anxiety. It was all these other things. And you were like, no, something's wrong. But I'm sure, like, at some point you would question that, right?
No.
Because, like, if enough people tell you, you're like, and then it's, like, really upsetting, too.
It was upsetting that people didn't believe me, but, like, I knew something was wrong. It was to that point that my body was so broken.
Like, with my chronic fatigue, everyone wants to be like, oh, if you just take some supplements, oh, if you just sleep, oh, if you just eat right, oh, if you just get some exercise, it'll go away. And I'm like, that's not how that works. And
but I believed that I had anxiety and depression because all of my autism symptoms I was told were related to those.
Yeah.
And they didn't make sense to me. And I would say that, and they're like, no, that's anxiety. No, that's depression. And I believed that.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people get anxiety and depression for, like, instead of anything that they actually have, whether it's like a physical illness or autism or it's crazy how much those are just probably that. Or I mean, we were just talking about when you put on the CSIC patch and were blind and nobody believed you were blind.
Yeah, the other students didn't believe.
Yeah,
I was blind, but I mean the staff did, so it was fine. But
like
yeah, you know, weird.
Like why would
someone pretend to be blind? That's weird.
It's just like listen to people, you know. Take it seriously. Like be in the moment with people. That's important. And listen, check in with your body. Listen to your body. If you're not comfortable and you can't tell your body's feeling, then you probably need to work on it. Because that is the big first step. That actually being in your body, being able to listen to it and know what your body's telling you, I guess a lot easier said than done. Because we're told to be uncomfortable in our bodies. We're told so many things to not. We want to escape that and not experience, like even just like, oh, I'm hungry right now. We try to escape those feelings instead of going, oh, you know what, I need to listen to this. It's really important. You go, hey guys, we need to stop right now and feel my belly. It helps with so many things: mental health, physical health, your energy, your happiness. And it relieves so many things to just go, you know what, my body needs to do this right now. Yeah. And so having autism and being told that those signals that you're listening to are completely false and incorrect, that creates a whole nother challenge. And so I've been having to relearn to listen to these signals, because I do like even when I hear them and I understand them, I go, I start second guessing, because for so long I had tried to escape them because I was told they were false. Because stimming was a natural reaction, and that was shut down. The verbal stims, the physical stims, yeah, because I guess that because most people don't experience that, they think that we should stop it. And so, like, if your child is I hear this a lot. Like my child is this, when he gets upset, he breaks things. He starts throwing everything and they break. And I was like, well, he's obviously not going to stop throwing and breaking things, right? Because you've had this problem, so he needs to do that. So you need to find something soft that he can throw that's not going to break anything. So maybe there's a wall, this blanket, he can throw like a beanbag or something soft against the wall, and every time he gets upset, just redirect him there. Like, you can throw this. And there's people, I know kids that like to jump off things and onto people and launch themselves around. Maybe get them a trampoline, get them a place that they can jump and throw themselves on, that's safe. And anytime they have that energy or emotion where they need to do that, you redirect them to that space. So, and make it natural to listen to their body, and because they know what their body's telling them. They need to release that energy, and those are normal emotional reactions that those of us on the spectrum often have, that we suppress and suppress and suppress, and then you do get anxiety and depression and all these other things because you don't know how to emotionally regulate. It comes really naturally when you're little. And so we have all these like physical reactions to emotion that need to be let out, that we keep suppressing, which is really unhealthy. So it's important we let that out.
Yeah, the feeling of stimming is amazing. It really releases all those emotions. It gets you into a nice headspace, and I really do enjoy stimming. And my stims are very personal and very connected to me. Yeah, I don't know how else I could deal with things unless I was able to stim the way
even positive emotions can be that overwhelming. Even happiness and excitement and all those kind of things. Those also need stims, and those also need emotional regulation. The most emotions are pretty extreme, so they all need to be released. And there's natural ways that we all want to do it. And kids, like, I know I love to do headstands and spins and swings. And so we had like these desk swivel chairs, and we had a swivel lounge chair, and we used to spin each other as fast as we could in those chairs. We'd put pillows on the floor, do headstands against the wall, and all of that is important to kids to emotionally regulate and to let out their energy. All of that, they need to do those kind of things. And so I see so many parents get scared they're gonna get hurt, and so they tell the kids not to do those kind of things. And I think it's important we find a safe way that they can do it.
Yeah, I know. I liked crashing full force into my bed, just running across the room and just crashing into it. It felt really good for me when I was little. But again, I had a very safe bed that was like much bigger than the size of me, so I wasn't going to crash my head into anything. And I didn't do it in a place that was unsafe. But it felt amazing.
Got a question. Do either one of you know anyone or personally experienced hives or flushed skin when overstimulating and needing to stim but can't?
I mean, I've experienced hives, but I've not because of that. I mean, I definitely think flushed skin, or like if you can't like that, like it would be the same as like anger making you all red in the face, or like fear making you pale. Like your emotions become unregulated and your body reacts however it reacts. If you can't,
so I can see that happening. You will get like you'll feel sick. Like if you can't let out emotions. Like I've definitely thrown up, and I've definitely had been in pain and got diarrhea. All those kind of things. So I can see somebody getting hives, breaking out, getting pimples, having flush skin. I know I do have a friend on the spectrum who, when she's embarrassed, she gets like red patches all on her neck. And so like all that kind of stuff is perfectly normal if you're not self-regulating, or even if you are, it could still, emotions can be really painful like that. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's very true. It can get very extreme if you're not taking care of yourself. Yeah, it could definitely make you sick. She says the crashes offer joint compression. Yeah, definitely deep pressure and like that kind of stuff. Wanting that. I remember putting like books and laptop and stuffed animals on me, wanting to decompress that way. And then I got my weighted blanket. That was so great. Yeah, for sure. Your body does let you know it needs you to take care of it, and it gets worse and worse the more you ignore it.
Yeah, emotions and mental health just as important as physical health, because it can lead to your body actually physically becoming sick if you're mentally unhealthy.
Yeah. So when someone says like stress is causing your sickness, like it's not that the sickness isn't real. Like stress sickness is a perfectly real sickness. It doesn't mean it's in your head. It's a real, actual physical illness that can lead to viruses, infection, like real things. It's just like the reason it's happening is you're not emotionally regulating. You're not, doing those kind of things, and you'll get sicker and sicker. Your immune system will get worse and worse because it can't take care of itself until you stabilize that. And of course, we need medication as well. but
it leads to something.
Yeah.
But emotionally regulating will decrease the amount of times that you get sick, if that's a common reoccurrence.
Yeah, for sure. It helps so many things to emotionally regulate you. So one of the things that I get asked is like, oh, do your symptoms get easier as they get older? It's as in like autism. Does your autism like go away? Like no, you learn these tricks and tools that do allow the symptoms to not be as bad, because if you're emotionally regulating and if you're doing all these things to help your mental health and stay away from sickness and stay away from all these things, you're not gonna, if you take a 5-minute break to do all those things, and then you're not going to get a sensory overload or a meltdown or whatever word you want to use that lasts a month or a year. Instead, you might have, a few minutes of it, because you're taking care of yourself. It's not that you're not experiencing everything the same way. You're learning your body and the signals it's telling you, because it lets you know when it's finished. And of course, there's times I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna stay because I'm really enjoying myself, and then I'm like, oh, I regret doing that because I'm spending a whole day in bed. Or maybe I don't regret doing that. Maybe I'm like, you know what, it's worth it. But I know it's gonna happen, if I push myself like that. Where when I was little, I didn't know why all those things were happening.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to everyone. I was like, this is what you're supposed to do, and you'll be fine.
And then you also, like, you learn the tools and the things you need. Like, when you're young, your parents buy your clothes. So, sensory-wise with clothes, it's a give and take of what your parents buy you. But once you are given the choice to buy your own clothes, and you can find the clothes that don't bother you, and then as you get older, you are like, I know exactly which fabrics I can wear and handle and deal with. You'll never have a sensory overload because of clothing again. So now that I'm in my 20s, I know my clothing. I buy my clothing. I test it all out. I'm able.
Yeah.
Veggie, quiet.
And for example, like I love my tights because they're tight fitted on me, and I love that compression where Lillian can't stand that feeling because she gets stomach.
Yeah, in my stomach area, I can't handle because I have Crohn's, and that causes different things.
She doesn't wear tights, and that's okay. And I wear tights all the time, and that's okay.
But I didn't know that when I was little, so
Yeah.
I'd wear tights all the time and have reactions to it, right?
They look so pretty.
So that's some of the reasons why we appear higher functioning, I guess would be the word, but we're not. We're the same level. We just know coping strategies and know our bodies better.
And we can go, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to listen to me.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, hey, baby. I need you to move, baby.
You want to lay down?
That's my service dog. He says hi. So we got a question that says, my son and I are both autistic. He does not have a resource room at his elementary school. He has nowhere to go when he is overstimulated or exhausted. Any suggestions to give staff at his school until we start homeschool or find a better school?
Do they have a nurse's office? Because that could be the place to go. They don't usually have a specific room for that.
Yeah.
But a nurse's office.
Library.
The libraries.
The office itself.
Even the janitors were like, if someone's specific office, you were like, you can just sit in here.
Yeah, the computer lab. Like, find some, like, I found a teacher or a staff member of the school that had my back. And I would go to them in these situations. And they took care of me. They'd be like, okay, you can come to this room anytime you're feeling this way, you know? And so I took naps in the nurse's office. Sometimes I go to the library. Sometimes I go to just another teacher's classroom, and they would have a corner for me to go sit in. You know, it's just like wherever it could be. So if you need to advocate on his behalf, I would go in and say this is what I need. Is can he go to the nurse, or can he come into the office and just sit here? You know, that'd be a suggestion. Yeah, thank you for the questions. I love when I get questions to answer. I want to say hi to Richard. Thank you for joining. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so what?
Oh, hello, Randy.
Thank
Peter
you. Oh, hi, Peter. Thank you for joining.
Did you see him?
We don't see all those names.
Oh, we're gonna look for them.
Let's do something.
Hi, Yara. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Brandon. Yeah, guys, thank you for joining. How about the teacher's lounge? Yeah, sometimes they let you go in there.
Usually not.
And
But
usually they don't
normally
let you in the teacher's lounge. That's
their safe
their
space.
safe space. But there's a lot of options.
The nurse is usually a great place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
the
say the
nurse.
nurse's office because that's usually the quietest. They usually have a bed you can sit on, read a book, do your homework, or just sit there and rock, whatever you need to do. They can give you a glass of water, ice pack if that's soothing, that sort of thing. So I say the nurse's office is probably my favorite. But if you prefer the library as a person or the computer lab works, whatever.
Or a teacher. Sometimes there's a special teacher.
Yeah, we talked about that. There's a special teacher. If you're a math teacher and they're not currently teaching a class, that's where that comes in. That teaching a class.
Yeah, or sometimes they let you go in the room and sit in the corner, or
as long as whatever your stim isn't disruptive.
Mm-hmm. Just listen to your body. Sometimes I just stepping outside for 5 minutes and just stimming and then going back to class.
I know there are
That's
kids
enough.
that like the music room, go in there, play the piano or the guitar or whatever for 5 minutes and then go back to class. That was something. So it's like whatever works for you individually.
Yeah, if you need to run around, do some laps, do that.
Approved by the school.
Yeah, approved by the school. Don't just do it. Please ask permission and get that in, that they know where
IEP.
you will. Yeah,
In your IEP.
and they consistently go there so they know where you're going when you just disappear. That is important. So you can't just go, I go to the library and then you're not in the library. That's a problem.
Yeah. Alright, so what else? Is there anything else we need to cover?
I don't think so. You can tell other stories if you have any stories.
Let's see.
Heather just wrote something.
They're able to say the lights are too bright and tiles are too shiny and floors are too hard. He says the energy in the building just hurts. Oh.
Well, it's good he can express it.
The glasses.
Yeah. So sunglasses might help.
Or colored lenses, depending on his sensitivities.
Yeah, those. So getting permission to.
If the floors are too hard, is that because he has to sit on the floor? I mean, you can bring a cushion in or a pillow for him to sit on. I don't even think you need an accommodation to do that. You just have him bring it, and that's his. But the energy of the building, that's just, school's very overwhelming and very painful, I would think, for most of us on the spectrum. And
yeah, everything's too much in school. I remember that.
Yeah, it's a very stressful, high energy environment. Even the positive energy can be overwhelming because there's so much of it.
Yeah, it's good that he recognizes all those things. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so you can start figuring out what to do. So he probably has sensitivity to sight, and maybe, I don't know. The ground's hard, and they always ask you to sit on the ground when you're little, and even the chairs are hard at school. They don't get very comfortable chairs, and you have to sit there all day.
I know when pillow pets came out, that was our thing. We brought our pillow pets to sit on, and people thought they were cool. And some people started doing that, and that was the thing. And you don't need an accommodation for that; you just sit on it. as long as you're not distracted by it.
Yeah,
right.
And you can carry it.
You carry it from class to class with your books. But if you have a cushion that you prefer better, whatever works.
He uses the term too hard a lot, so I don't know why floors are too hard.
Too hard.
Yeah, probably just too much to handle. Something he doesn't like about him. Yeah, just school is a lot. There's a lot of people stressed out. There's so many rules. There's so much sensory going on, and everything's so cheap. You know, they got the harsh, cheap lights. They've got fans going. They've got, you know, that air conditioning. The uncomfortable chairs that are too small and hard, and you know, school just is rough.
Yeah. It's a difficult environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wish there were more like break times that kids could go, you know, just emotionally regulate and go somewhere quiet. And they did something like meditation or like something with the kids, more so that they weren't stressed out all the time, worried about grades and points and sitting properly. There's so many things I wish school did differently though. Yeah, we have so many of these live streams just around school. Because school needs to change. And they need to listen to their kids more.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I know
parents always have to get involved. They don't listen to the students. Even up to the high school and college.
Even our
age, right? That you advocate for yourself as a student, and they don't believe you until a parent gets involved. And I think that's what's the worst, that he probably has stated these things in class, but nothing changes until you as a parent get involved with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what hurts the most as a student, is that you feel you have no voice at all.
Yeah. School is very invalidating. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some wonderful professors and teachers, and then there's some not so great ones. So, but it's just such a mix. So, yeah, I think it's rare to find that really great person, but you can stick with them the whole time they're there, you know? Even if they're not your grade or whatever, you can go back and visit them and go, hey, I need a safe place to land. Can you be that safe place? You know, and normally if they're that great teacher, they're gonna do it. You know, that's the reason that they're so great.
Mm-hmm. It's always nice to have that safe connection, a safe place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It makes it much easier to get through the day.
Yeah. So if someone does listen, I would go to that person and make them your advocate. You know, because that's important to feel heard. Because nothing's gonna change if you keep going to the same person who's just like no, who doesn't listen. So yeah, find that person, and it's the same thing with family. If there's like one person in your family, go to them. Why are you going to the one that doesn't listen?
Looking forward to the workshop in Orlando this weekend. As a parent, these resources were very helpful.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we work hard on these workshops, and we really hope that they are helpful. As I said, these are mostly our unique experiences, and we're finding that they're not as unique as we believe them to be. Mm-hmm. They're very universal, so it's always validating to hear that you guys really find this helpful, and we hope to keep finding more information that we remember and share our experience with you, so it's easier for the next group of people to deal with the same things and hopefully don't have to go through the same things. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of just listening that, just like these small things, like if you pay attention, you're gonna hear more than you realize, and really take, like, listening to your instincts too as parents. Like, I feel like you guys have really good instincts that you don't listen to enough. You know, if something doesn't feel right, you know, don't pursue that. You know, if you're trying something, it doesn't work, you know, try something else. I think that even when a doctor or a professional who had years and years of experience with this, like, if it's rubbing you the wrong way, the advice they're giving you is probably not the right advice, you know. Because I know, I mean, even if you try it and you go, oh, this is not what the reaction I get from my child is not, it's not okay with you, then you don't have to keep doing it. We got a comment from Deborah. The smells of the chemicals in the new school is very distracting. I find the environment more harsh. The lights, colors, and lack of air circulating here to take for more than a few hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then just take one class and then take a break for a couple hours and then go back home. You know? But like, if that's what you can handle, that's what you can handle, you know? Like, put that in your schedule and accommodations. Sometimes that's what you just request that. If you know you can only handle so much, you know? Do, like, listen to those instincts, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't, it's real, yeah. Like, your mental health is more important than your grades. And I think people forget that. Like, it's important to take care of yourself and take your time. You don't have to graduate right now, you know? That's nothing for parents. Milestones don't have a deadline. And, you know, you get there and you get there. And everyone gets the things at their own pace. It's not like, oh, at this time you have to be doing this. Like, you have a goal and you work toward it. As long as you're making a little bit of progress and you're motivated toward making it happen, you're good.
Trying your best.
You're good, you know? And progress doesn't have to be like the actual steps toward the goal. It could be like, you know, I need to stop and take care of myself because I'm sick, you know? That's still working toward that goal, because you can't work toward it if you're not 100%, you know? So, you know, all that's important. Take care of yourself. You know? So, yeah. Everyone's different, and you got time. Deborah says, I'm glad I went to school with your mom. We had open schools. It was awesome. Yeah. My mom's school stories are awesome. She had such a different experience with school, and so she wanted us to experience that the same way. And I think that some parents get caught up with that. I know that a lot of parents like want their kids to enjoy prom, and a lot of times those of us on the spectrum, like that is an overwhelming sensory experience that isn't exciting for us. Like that, it sounds like a miserable time, and parents feel like it's so sad. Like, oh, my kid's not going to prom. Look, I'm so sad. And like, but the kid will probably not have a very good time if they don't want to go. There's a reason they're opting out. So, we all want to make our own experiences, and so if you're projecting what you're feeling and what you experience onto your kid and going, well, I had a great time, so they're missing out on a great time. You're not understanding everybody's different. And so be excited about what the other person is excited about, And I think you'll find it way less stressful and way easier.
We have a question from Judy. What was your first overnight away from home experience like? What was good? What was bad? What would have helped, speaking like a camp overnight my girls' school is doing? Okay, so our first one would be Girl Scouts, I think. We had overnight at Scout House, and then we had overnight at a ranch type place for a weekend, and then if it's school-based would be, there was like a 6th grade outdoor ed for about a week. So we can talk about Girl Scouts. Was nice. It was like our troop. We knew everyone. We all mostly trusted each other, and it was always fun experiences that we wanted to do. So that was nice. But I get, this is a school trip, so it's not always something you want to do, and it's can be with strangers. But
we did a bunch of school overnights. We did outdoor ed.
Yeah,
those were all a week. We did them starting in like 6th grade.
for the most part, I don't think we had any like major problems. I don't think any other students did.
Yeah.
There was always homesickness.
Yeah, that was probably the worst.
I think that was the worst. But like autism related stuff at outdoor ed wasn't that much of a, it was less than because
in regular school, I would say.
Yeah, because you were out in the woods. You everyone is in a place where they're in like a discomfort, I would say. So like everyone was super supportive of each other and aware of each other. And I think it's being on the spectrum was just like another additive, but it wasn't too different from everyone else's experience because it's a new, uncomfortable situation for everyone.
And you can opt out of any activity. You just let somebody know, a counselor or a teacher, just say, you know what, I'm not comfortable. And they were very cool with that.
Very cool with it, yeah. They're like, they might ask you to try it, but as soon as you were done, they let you be done.
Yeah.
And then just bring like the tools you need. If you need a chewable toy, if you need your STEM toys, like whatever it is you need, bring it.
I would say the biggest thing is prepare for weather, prepare for all that.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the right equipment, because the most miserable people are people who, weren't warm at night, or, did not bring hiking boots or whatever it was that, we were doing. Like that, I would say, is probably one of the biggest issues that we ended up having. Like I remember there was one trip we were told it was going to be really warm and it snowed and everyone was wet the whole time because we didn't bring any raincoats or any winter jackets, and so that was not fun.
But that everyone was in the same situation because of that. So you also weren't as miserable because the person next to you was also miserable.
Our activities were really, really fun.
But
our activities were fun, and hanging out was really fun. But we were all cold and wet, so but that could be really hard for someone, who is having a sensory experience, or is already having a tough time, and then
but again, if it really was too much, they found a place for you, and you could sit out activities. And if it's tent based or cabin based, sometimes they had students who needed to go back for a little bit and rest, and if that wasn't an option, they just had to sit down and just relax outside of whatever activity. They're very understanding on these sort of trips because they know they're going to have students have breakdowns. And again, homesickness was huge. There would be people crying in the middle of activities.
I found these trips are how I made my friends.
So everyone's there to comfort each other. And yeah, if they don't want to say it's sensory overload, they can say it's homesickness and join that group of whatever. They're very accommodating on these sort of trips.
I actually got my nickname Little One that has been used by very special people in my life on one of these trips. I think it was my first trip. I met Alex, my best friend, who's now my sister, on one of these trips. I very much enjoyed them, loved them. They have a special place in my heart. I think that these kind of things are important. I wish school was actually like this, because this is, it's hands-on. I think this is how school should be. Not necessarily away from parents, but we go and do things and experience things hands-on. Because I have so many memories from that. Lessons stayed with me.
It's probably my favorite part of the year. Even if I didn't enjoy it, it was something really memorable and really touched your heart. You met people, you really grew in relationships and understood yourself and other people. It was a really great experience to do that every year, because our school did it every year.
Thank you. Your stories help. She's in 4th grade and is anxious.
Well, I think everyone is neurotypical on the spectrum. These sort of trips make everyone anxious, and it's
we did it all the way to 12th grade. 12th graders anxious about the trip. Who have done it since they were little are still anxious about it and dread it every year. The majority of people didn't want to go on it, and then had a blast when they went on it. And then complained about it when they got home. So
anxiety is just part of it, but it's gonna be okay. It really is. And we've had the point one time we were caught in the flash flood, we previously mentioned. I had the seasickness patch because I was on a boat and I had seasickness, and at the end of the trip I actually went blind because of the seasickness patch. It goes away as soon as you take it off, but I had to deal with that. And again, everything was super accommodating. I was super fine. I didn't have really serious problems because of it. It was something I had to deal with, and it was annoying, but it really was fine.
And for me, I have a huge fear of heights. We did a lot of rock climbing, rope courses, all these things, and the first few years they would make me try to do it, get over it. It didn't help. Trying, but they took care of me, when I was like, okay, I'm done. So they brought me down and calmed me down, and then I valeted for everybody, and I was involved, but not necessarily going up to huge heights. And then people knew that, and
and then depending on what your trip is, if you want to calm their anxieties and take them on a similar trip beforehand, if it's camping for the first time and they've never been camping, take them on a 2-day camping trip with you where they trust you, right? And they can experience it beforehand, so it's not totally blinding. For whatever, if it is a capability. If it's not, talk them through it, show them videos of what camping's like, really talk about those sort of things. So that sort of thing isn't just I've never done this, I don't know what it is at all. There's a known. And there's it's gonna be fun. Let's have fun getting the equipment together and talking about it and learning about what you're gonna be doing.
Yeah, I remember one year we ended up, something happened where we were supposed to go to I think it was Yosemite, and ended up going somewhere else. So we were like, well, we really want to do the Yosemite, so me and a couple of friends would Cappy in Yosemite that summer. Like we were, so that's how much we love these things. So yeah, I would say, you know, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to like be worried, and there's gonna be great experiences. There's gonna be terrible experiences. Like everyone has great days and bad days on these trips, you know. But it's like when you're with people who are all trying new things, and you know, there's this support that sort of happens. Like in middle school was like the worst anyone's ever been. Like everyone's making fun of each other, bullying and we go on these trips and it's like night and day. Like everyone got grouped together and supported each other, and we're like, because everyone was scared, you know. Everyone was like, I don't know how we're gonna handle this, and so we worked together, and that's been my experience on these trips. That I did a European trip over one summer with my school and another much bigger school, and I felt the same thing on that trip, where I was expecting there to be like way more hostility between people, and of course there was like a little bit of drama.
There's always petty
you know,
drama.
but for the most part,
High
people
school
were
and
like, you know, we're in a completely different country. We have to figure out how to get to this location, and like people worked together and helped each other. Like no one went, well, we're gonna abandon you, you know, like. So I found that on those kind of new experiences where everyone's a little bit outside their comfort zone, that we tended to work together more so than we did in the classroom environment, that it was way more competitive, and it was about getting points and about, you know, getting the grade. That it creates a more hostile environment than when we did outdoor ed, and everyone was where everyone really had to work together to get stuff done. And then you could see like what you were learning in action. So all of that was really, really cool to us. Yeah.
So to reiterate, no worries, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Just bring your toolkit and be prepared.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
They got your back.
And if you don't like it, someone will call your mom to come pick you up. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any final questions, we'll try to answer them. But please come to the workshop if you can. We have that in the description. Click on that. Last minute tickets. Get them now. Get them fast. And we do scholarships. So if you want to email us, yeah, let us know. So thank you guys for watching. Check out OurTism.com. There's a lot of really cool things on there. Come back next week. I'm gonna be in New York next week. Lots of traveling. Hopefully I'll be able to be on. I'm gonna try. No guarantees when I'm traveling, you know. Yeah. So check out Danny Rady. Ask for Your Extras. Gonna have some stuff coming up. Cause he's joining us for the workshop. It's gonna be awesome. Or we're joining him. I don't know which way it works.
We're doing it together.
We're doing it together.
It's a collaboration, Chloe.
Collaboration. We work together. See, I learned stuff from outdoor ed. Working together. Stay colorful. Bye-bye.